I had 3 victims that I've been working with, victims of the Carters, that were ready to come forward. This might help them feel a little more confident now. So this is great. Everything you see about him is an illusion, but what he loves the most is controlling youth.
Fact check me. And Jaguar has more information than I do. So to anybody who discredits her is really doesn't know what's going on, because she has more information than I could even dream of having, because I'm sure, without even speaking to her about this,
for 15 long years, everyone's been told the same perfect story. Rihanna, the helpless victim; Jay-Z, the loyal protector; Chris Brown, the cruel villain who ruined it all. But what if that whole setup was flipped upside down? What if the real victim got buried under fame and money while the real mastermind used sympathy as a weapon? Jaguar Wright is about to blow the lid off everything you thought you knew. She's not holding back, and what she's saying could change how the world sees one of music's biggest icons forever. Because sometimes the person crying victim is actually the one pulling the strings behind the scenes, and the proof Wright's about to drop, it's pointing straight at Rihanna, not as innocent, but as involved. Let's rewind. Forget the sugar-coated fairy tale the media fed you. Picture this: Rihanna, just 16, fresh from Barbados, flown across the world alone, sitting in a cold Manhattan skyscraper at 3 a.m. No parents, no chaperone, no safety net, just a teenage girl and a man with power over everything she'd become. No one was there to protect her, no one to say stop, and that's where the real story begins.
So tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said to you. A really good audition. Yes. But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming. And you had to sing a cappella for him? Yes, I had to sing. I sang Pon de Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time. So then what did he say to you? He said something to you. Oh, yes. He said, we don't sing songs here. We sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief. But then he said something about a window and a door or something. Oh, then he said, he did it homework. I did a lot of homework on you, this lady. He said, there are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor. So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing. Yeah.
Listen close to Rihanna's own words, because hidden in her calm tone is a truth she probably never meant to expose. She calls it an audition, sounding so casual, so harmless, but pay attention to the cracks in her story. The hesitation, the nervous laughter, the way she describes being alone in that high-rise room, trapped in silence and fear. She didn't walk into that meeting free. She was cornered, intimidated, and kept there until signing wasn't a choice. It was survival. The way she tells it sounds innocent, but between every word, you can feel the pressure closing in. Something about that night doesn't sound like a dream. It sounds like control.
Signed it that night. We didn't let her leave the office. Really? The 3 a.m. was when that contract got signed. So from the meeting around 3, 4 in the afternoon, we signed it by 3 a.m. Wow. That day, I was absolutely certain.
How often does that happen? I mean, that's
not often.
That's unheard of, right?
That's not, yeah. I mean, to get lawyers to draft up contracts and then the other side to agree to contracts in 10 hours that's retarded.
Now listen to Jay-Z's own words. Years later, he practically brags about that night. We didn't let her leave without signing, he says, almost proud. Let that sink in for a second. An adult man admitting he wouldn't let a 16-year-old girl walk out of his office until she signed those papers. That's not mentorship, it's control. That's not a deal, it's pressure wrapped in power. He turned a scared teenager's dream into a trap, all while calling it business. The way he said it, so casual like it was just another day in the industry, makes it even worse. That's not confidence, it's confession.
Get discovered. This is an unusual story.
Well, first, I met a producer in Barbados who was vacationing there because his wife is from there. So he was vacationing there one time, and my friend who knows him, she wanted me to meet with him. So in a nutshell, I went to his hotel room, I sang for him, and he was impressed. So he invited me out to his studio to do some recording, and we recorded for like a year back and forth. Then we finally put a demo together. We sent it to a few labels, and Def Jam happened. We were the first label to call back. They were the most enthusiastic about everything. So we set up a meeting with Jay-Z, and I met with him, and he was very impressed by the audition. And he didn't let me leave until 3 in the morning after we signed the deal.
Well, were you nervous meeting Jay?
What? I was literally shaking in the lobby. It was the longest 12 hours of my life. Like, I was just waiting downstairs, and I was like, get the contract down here. I want to sign. I was so hyped. I didn't sleep for the next 3 days.
And here's where the cracks start to show, the proof of the psychological damage she carried. Rihanna once said she couldn't sleep for 3 straight days after that meeting. 3 days. Now tell me, who loses sleep for that long after a normal business deal? That's not excitement, it's a trauma reaction. Her body was screaming what her mouth couldn't say. When someone's mind tries to brush it off, the body still remembers every ounce of fear, every second of unease. That kind of restlessness doesn't come from signing papers. It comes from something deep, something unsettling that shakes your spirit. Her silence said everything, and her sleepless nights were the evidence.
She was a kid at that time, correct?
A 15-year-old girl who had been flown to the United States without parental supervision or a chaperone, brought to a grown man's office in a large corporate Manhattan building. Everybody knew when she flew in. I was there the day she got signed. Everyone was talking about it. And the 6 hours that she spent with him, and the 4 hours that she spent alone with him with no parental supervision. Her father didn't show up till the next day to come and collect the check.
Well, and
this is her life.
The rumors were even beyond that, right? That Jay-Z was cheating on Beyonce with her when she was
Very
17
so.
Is what a lot of this came out through a publicist who later then
Have
had
you
to
spoken
apologize.
to my friend Jonathan Hay? You should talk to Jonathan.
But Jaguar Wright takes us even deeper into the shadows, into the part nobody wanted to talk about. She claims Rihanna wasn't even 16 when it started. She was just 15. A 15-year-old girl alone inside a corporate skyscraper with a powerful man who had been setting up that meeting for hours. 4 long hours. Imagine that. While the lights of the city glowed outside, a child sat trapped in a room with someone who held her future in his hands. No parents, no friends, no one to protect her. And the worst part? The whole industry knew something wasn't right, yet they stayed silent, pretending nothing was happening. Everyone turned their heads while a kid was being molded, controlled, and broken down behind closed doors.
And then the next thing you know, she was removed from that first team from Pond the Replay and replaced with all new handlers and kept sheltered in Los Angeles, where she was going out to parties and partying at 15, 16, 17 years old, hanging out at the Rainbow Room, hanging out. Yeah, like it was one of my friends who found out she was 17 when everyone thought she was 21. And he was like, yo, why do y'all got me carrying this girl around and she's it's cool.
Well, but just to echo and support you, like they had to debunk that. Oh, we apologize. It wasn't real. We made it up in hopes of giving her single a boost.
Yeah, they
like,
promised
what?
Jonathan a deal working at Tidal and something, and then they reneged. And then the next thing you know, he was caught in a home invasion robbery while he was working on the Drake secret baby mama story,
Jeez.
Sophie. He was duct taped him and his daughter, and he was pow whipped in front of his child. So, there's a lot that goes on in the backdrop.
The manipulation didn't stop once the ink dried on that contract. It was only the beginning. Jaguar Wright exposes how Rihanna was pushed straight into the wild adult party circuit at just 15 and 16. Surrounded by stars, power players, and people twice her age, people who should have protected her. But instead, they watched, partied, and played along while her innocence slipped away. Here's where it gets even darker. Those who dared to speak up, the few who whispered that she was still a kid, started to vanish from the scene, cut off, silenced, erased from the industry completely. It's like every voice that tried to defend her got wiped out. And that big Grammy moment everyone remembers, the one that should have been pure celebration? Watch closely. Jay-Z steps in, controlling the spotlight, controlling her. Ask yourself, is that the look of a proud mentor or a man making sure his investment doesn't step out of line?
Dad, I know I promised you I'm going to give you my first Grammy, but we might have to fight for this one.
She said she want to thank everybody for her first Grammy.
Anyway, I'd like to thank Jay-Z for being a part of this record with me.
She like to thank Jigga Man for being the greatest in the world.
Ella Reed, Steve Bartles, Tata, Jay Brown, Karen Kwok for finding this amazing record. Tricky, Dream for writing such a beautiful record. Thank you. I love you guys. Mom, Dad, my two brothers, Rory and Rajad. Please wrap up, okay? Barbados, I love you. We got one. Evan Rogers, Carl Sturken, Mark Jordan, Krista, and making sure I don't forget anybody. Thank you so much. This means a lot.
This was never just a story about a rising star. It was a setup, a pattern, a system hiding behind the glitz of the music world. What looked like a discovery was really a playbook of manipulation disguised as mentorship. Every move, every contract, every stage appearance was part of something much darker. Systematic control dressed up as business. And here's the part that'll make your stomach twist. Rihanna didn't just survive that system. She learned it. She mastered the same tactics that once trapped her and later used them against someone who dared to pull back the curtain on the truth. That's when everything started crumbling. But before we get there, you need to know, Rihanna wasn't the only one caught in Jay-Z's web. She was one piece of a long-running pattern, one that's been repeating for years. And who knows that pattern better than anyone? The woman lying beside him every single night.
He's been evading, but the thing is, everyone in the backdrop knew that he was the celebrity John Doe. Everybody knew that. They knew it when I did Pierce Morgan.
Is Beyonce celebrity B?
I hope to God not, but she was around. And she's very, she's got enough on her plate. After everything that happened with the election and everything that's happening right now, I'm not going to dump on that woman. She got better fish to fry.
Well,
what I
look,
will say is that her husband, she knows exactly who he is.
Jaguar Wright drops a bombshell that hits like an earthquake. She claims Beyonce knows exactly who her husband really is and what he's been doing all these years. According to Wright, Beyonce has seen the pattern up close, watched it play out again and again, yet she stayed silent, not out of fear, but out of protection for the empire they built together. Let that sink in. The woman praised worldwide as a voice for women, the face of empowerment and strength, has supposedly stood by while young girls were mistreated right in front of her. Wright says it wasn't ignorance, it was a choice to protect wealth, status, and legacy instead of the people being hurt. It's a chilling picture, the so-called feminist icon turning away from injustice to keep the crown shining. And the silence? It speaks louder than any of her songs ever could.
He was after Beyonce when she was before 18, correct? I mean, as we go through the timeline, they claim, oh no, I met him at 18 and then we waited till I was 19, but they knew each other when she was like 15, 16, correct? He clearly had eyes, and it's not the only one, right? There's Aaliyah as well. I was looking at these photos. There's a history
but Aaliyah,
of this, right?
definitely. A lot of people don't realize the timeline, but after everything went bad with Robert Kelly and he had to divorce Aaliyah, Jay-Z was interested while she was still underage. And as she started spending more time in New York, he was very, very, very right there. She didn't want that. She didn't want that with him. And if there's one thing I can tell you about Sean Carter, being embarrassed and being rejected are things he does not handle well. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you're crazy. He didn't do anything to Big L.
Now, Jaguar Wright lays it all out, the entire chilling pattern. She claims Jay-Z didn't just focus on Rihanna. This went way deeper. He allegedly targeted Beyonce when she was still underage, and even before that, he went after Aaliyah while she was just a teenager. 3 girls, 3 different timelines, but the same disturbing setup every single time. According to Wright, there was a pattern, a formula. Aaliyah, though, was different. She pushed back, said no, and that's where things turned dark. Wright insists Jay-Z doesn't handle rejection well. Remember that, because it matters later when we talk about what happens to those who say no to his system. Look at the timeline. Beyonce at 15, Aaliyah at 16, Rihanna at 15. That's not random. It's routine. It's a cycle that repeats, a method perfected over decades. Wright paints a picture of a man who used his power in the music world like a weapon, turning young dreams into leverage. This wasn't opportunity, it was strategy, built and refined for over 30 years.
That Jay-Z used to have transgender women on there. On the tour bus, he knows that. He knows that Jay-Z used to prefer transgender women. So I don't know why. I wish Dame Dash would come out and, say everything, but maybe in his own way, he's trying to, protect the hip hop culture and knows how many people could be crushed if he came out and really spoke about Jay-Z's secrets. They set out to do that,
Did you personally see Jay-Z with transgender women? You personally?
I have, correct.
Can you speak on like maybe in what aspect? Is it music video or outside of music videos?
It was during the tour. It was during the tour with the Mill, DMX, Jay-Z.
The Hard Knock Life.
No.
Or maybe a different one.
Yeah, they had the documentary for it. What was that called? I'll think of it. I'll think of it here in a little bit.
Yeah, it was a documentary, backstage or the
backstage with the Mill and all that. I used to work with her, and I definitely it was unmistakable. In 2024, the trans women are, it can be hard. Like a lot of people that they don't know, but back then it wasn't as advanced, and you could clearly tell, that was a guy.
But the pattern goes even deeper than anyone imagined. Industry insider Jonathan Hay once pulled back the curtain, exposing Jay-Z's hidden side. Behavior so unsettling that even those closest to him couldn't ignore it. His longtime business partner, Dame Dash, reportedly saw things that disturbed him so much, he cut ties for good. This wasn't just about young girls. It was about a man whose private actions were so twisted that people inside his own circle couldn't stomach being near him. Remember, this is the same man who spent 4 long hours alone in that Manhattan office with 15-year-old Rihanna. That's not just business, it's obsession. And here's where Beyoncé's silence becomes even harder to swallow. She didn't just know about the pattern, she benefited from it. Every time Jay-Z pulled another rising artist into his web, their power grew. Every time the industry turned its head, their brand got stronger. Every deal, every secret, every cover-up added another layer to their empire. Wright suggests Beyoncé faced a choice. She could have spoken up, she could have protected others, but instead she became his strongest ally. She didn't just stand beside him, she helped protect everything he built, even when it was built on the pain of others. That silence wasn't fear, it was partnership, and the cost? Deadly. Wright claims that anyone who dared to expose the truth found themselves erased, career gone, reputation destroyed, or worse. But to understand how deep this control runs, we have to look at what happened next. Because once Jay-Z had power over someone, he didn't just let go. He locked them down. What came after the conditioning was a full-scale system of control designed to keep everyone quiet forever.
Speaking of PTSD, you made a comment about this. Like, this was from the Super Bowl appearance more recently. This bothered you, seeing her put the Rockefellers logo out there.
If you
what was
go
your
back
instinct to that?
and watch, it was almost as if she didn't want to put her hands up, and then she looked over where Jay-Z's box was, and then you just see her hands. She look at her. She's looking at his box. She didn't want to do it. She didn't even want to do that gig. But the hold, especially the financial hold with the companies and all of the money and all of the strings that he pulled he treats these women like shell corporations.
Is that why this happened? Do you have any insight on this infamous elevator video where Solange was seen just unloading on him? Beyonce's there as well.
What I will say is right there, that's the moment when he told her to back up and called her Tito Jackson.
And respect and love to Tito Jackson, who we just lost recently.
I know. Tito could never get a break, and he's the nicest guy.
But here, yeah, Jay-Z trying to mimic, she's not worthy, she's nobody, is what he's trying to do.
Pretty much is what he pretty much said to her. But the thing is there was infidelity that was happening that night. Both of them got caught doing things they weren't supposed to do. I believe there might have been some DV that happened, and people who know Mr. Carter knows he doesn't have a problem with putting his hands on his wife. Plenty of people know that to be true. Solange is different.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, Solange is different. She's old school Southern, and she loves her big sister, even when her big sister makes mistakes. She stood up for her sister. The most interesting thing about that, though, can we look at that one more time, Andy? They come in and all of this, and then look, it almost looks like he's going to defend himself, but instead he prostrates himself, right? He lets Solange go nuts, and he sits there and acts. He knows that camera's there. He knows where all the cameras are in that place. There's another footage, and I'll get it and I'll send it to you, of him with another woman approaching him aggressively, or it seemed like aggressively, and he the crap out of her. Matter of fact, there's at least 5 different shows over the course of the past 15 years where he has physically attacked women that came into his space that he didn't want anywhere near him. So I find it funny that in all those other instances, he had no problem with putting his hands on a woman to so-called defend himself. But when he's getting killed alive with cameras there, all of a sudden now he's meek and mild. I think that was a setup. I think he did that specifically to handle up on Solange.
Watch closely. Jaguar Wright breaks down Rihanna's Super Bowl performance frame by frame. She points out the exact moment Rihanna hesitates before flashing Jay-Z's iconic Rockefeller hand sign, glancing straight toward his private box, as if waiting for his approval before giving in. That's not admiration. It looks like obedience. That's not an artist paying tribute. It's someone under control, performing on command. Wright doesn't stop there. She reveals the hidden power Jay-Z allegedly holds over both Rihanna and Beyonce, a financial chokehold so tight it keeps them bound to his empire. They're not equal partners, she claims. They're corporate assets, carefully managed and manipulated to serve one man's interests. Every public move, every smile, every perfectly timed gesture, it's all part of a plan to keep his empire spotless and his secrets buried. But the real horror runs even deeper. According to Wright's sources, both women are victims of ongoing mistreatment, silenced and conditioned to protect the very system that's been hurting them. Behind the diamonds, the fame, and the flawless image, she says, lies something far darker, a cycle of control so strong that even the world's most powerful women can't break free. 2 queens of the industry, both trapped in the same invisible cage and taught to defend each other's pain.
Okay. The person who leaked the security video of Solange attacking Jay-Z was found and then fired. Reportedly, it was a female security guard. And she didn't take the tape from the hotel security system. She recorded it on her cell phone. Well, that was smart, though, because, I mean, I'd be thinking about just take the tape. So that was smart. The less than smart thing is that it took her 5 days. She shopped it around for 5 days before she got, some dough for it. Finally, it was TMZ who bought the video. Originally, it was reported that whoever sold it for $250,000, but now there's some discrepancy in the amount of money. Some people are saying $50,000, some are saying $100,000, others are saying $250,000. Either way, now she's going to lose it all because now the Standard's going to sue her. They've hired a high-priced lawyer to go after this security guard girl, and now, she can never be, I guess, a security person again since she's a security breacher. It's terrible.
But here's where the story turns truly sinister. Solange wasn't just fighting for her sister that night in the elevator. She was standing up against the whole system of control wrapped around Beyonce's life. She was the only real link Beyonce had left to a world outside Jay-Z's influence. The one person who could still reach her, still remind her who she was before the empire. And that made her dangerous. Wright claims Jay-Z made sure to destroy that bond for good. That elevator moment, it wasn't just a scandal, it was strategy. After the incident, Solange's presence vanished. No more red carpets with Beyonce, no more public sister moments. The tight bond between them dissolved overnight, replaced by silence. It wasn't coincidence, it was elimination. Jay-Z didn't just survive that confrontation, he used it. He flipped it to isolate Beyonce even further, cutting her off from her emotional anchor. And standing nearby, watching it all unfold, was Rihanna, taking notes, absorbing the method, learning exactly how this power game worked. But that's where things twist even darker. Because soon, the same system that broke and controlled others would be used again. But this time, as part of the most chilling, perfectly staged act of victimhood ever seen on live television. What the world thought was a moment of sympathy was, according to Wright, a weapon, carefully crafted to protect everything Jay-Z had built in the shadows.
I am strong. This happened to me. I didn't cause this. I didn't do it. This happened to me, and it can happen to anybody. There are a lot of women who've experienced what I did, but not in the public. So it made it really difficult. I just felt like, oh my God, here goes my little bit of privacy. Just exposed. Like, it's something that nobody wants anybody to know. So here I am, the whole world knowing.
Why be ashamed?
Because I didn't want people to think that that's the kind of person I fell in love with that person. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing that that's the type of person that I fell in love with. So far in love, so unconditional that I went back.
On average, I think it takes a woman 7 times before she leaves.
8 or 9, actually. And I don't want that to happen. That's not what I want to teach people. But again, people, I'm a human being, and people put me on a very unrealistic pedestal. And all these expectations. I'm not perfect. Also, it's pretty natural for that to be the first reaction. It's completely normal to go back. You start lying to yourself. The minute the physical wounds go away, you want this thing to go away. This is a memory you don't want to have ever again.
Watch this carefully. Rihanna's 2009 interview with Diane Sawyer on ABC wasn't just an emotional confession. It was a performance that rewrote history. Wright claims this was the interview that crushed Chris Brown's career and quietly shielded Jay-Z's empire from deeper scrutiny. Look at how perfectly every line is delivered. Every pause, every tear, every phrase crafted for impact. I am strong. This happened to me. I didn't cause this. The words roll off her tongue like they were rehearsed in a mirror 100 times. The tone, the timing, it's flawless, almost scripted. Designed not just to inspire sympathy, but to cement an image the world would never question again. But if you listen past the polished delivery beneath the trembling voice, something feels off. It sounds less like healing and more like someone following a script written to protect the people pulling the strings behind the scenes.
I couldn't be held responsible for telling them, go back. Even if Chris never hit me again, who's to say that their boyfriend won't? Who's to say that they won't kill these girls? And these are young girls.
She wasn't just painting Chris Brown as her abuser. She was turning him into a symbol, a threat to every woman everywhere. That's not the raw voice of trauma, it's precision, a performance built to destroy a reputation in one single interview. Look at the timing. This aired exactly when Chris was trying to rebuild his image, trying to get back on his feet, and then, boom! One carefully crafted appearance on national TV, and his comeback was dead before it even began. That's not luck, that's strategy. Now, take a step back and remember everything Jaguar Wright exposed about Jay-Z's long history of manipulation. The 4-hour meeting with a young Rihanna, the intense control, the isolation, the pressure to sign. Remember those details because they matter. Now picture Rihanna in that interview hitting every victim note perfectly. Doesn't it make you wonder, who taught her that? Who told her exactly what to say, when to pause, when to cry, and how to make the world fall in love with her pain? This wasn't just a confession, it was a calculated move. A masterclass in image control that not only erased suspicion from the real power players, but also weaponized empathy against anyone who got too close to the truth. While the entire world focused on Chris Brown, the supposed monster Jay-Z, the man at the center of the storm, kept moving untouched, protected by the perfect illusion he'd helped create. Rihanna's performance wasn't just personal, it was professional damage control. The next step in a decades-long operation to erase threats, rewrite narratives, and keep the empire shining while the truth stayed buried.
Don't see the lineup?
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
Yeah, shout out D. Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D. Haven.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now, I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Mm-hmm. Think of the power of that moment. Think about Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay-Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So, Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress, who died of an imaginary aneurysm, just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the f*** are these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is you. And the boss's boss don't get no. Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for.
Here's the truth nobody dares to face, and it's darker than anyone wants to admit. For more than 2 decades, Jay-Z has allegedly been removing anyone who poses even the slightest threat to his empire. Every time someone gets too close to exposing the truth, they vanish, career gone, reputation ruined, or worse. Think about it. The Haven supposedly knew too much about those early money and substance dealings. Gone. Dame Dash witnessed behavior so disturbing he couldn't stay quiet. Destroyed professionally. Aaliyah turned him down. Gone in a plane crash that still raises questions. Kathy White, rumored to be carrying his child. Gone from a sudden aneurysm. Different stories, same eerie rhythm. It's always the same formula. First, isolate the target. Then, shatter their credibility. And finally, erase them completely, leaving just enough doubt to keep everything looking accidental. That's not coincidence. That's a system built on silence and control. And when Chris Brown stepped into the crosshairs, the operation went public. His fall wasn't random, it was calculated. Every headline, every interview, every soundbite played a role in his destruction. But don't just take this version as gospel. Listen to the insiders, the ones who saw it unfold up close. They'll tell you, this machine doesn't stop until the threat disappears.
People have been hitting me about, how could Jaguar Wright know all these things, right? And how, Jaguar Wright hasn't worked with Jay-Z since, when she did the Unplugged. That's a long time ago. Well, I can tell you just from what I've experienced is the people that have contacted me since I've done like your show and since I've done other shows, people have contacted me, other victims, and have sent me. Obviously, there's been some people that have sent me stuff that, doesn't check out or whatever, but victims have contacted me and they have sent me proof that can never be disputed, photos, everything else, because they don't want to bring their story out, but they like what we're doing. So they're whistleblowing, but they're doing quietly to protect their jobs and to protect their families and to protect, whatever. They're not comfortable speaking out. So if I've got all kinds of information in the last 2 months, just from doing, shows like you guys, I can't imagine all the stuff that Jaguar Wright has got and to her and the access that she's seen and the people who have came to her. Like, she has such a bigger reach and such a bigger audience than me. It's and mine is getting to the point where it's overwhelming of people reaching out who have suffered from Diddy, from Jay-Z, and from these celebrities.
Here's where things get undeniable. Rihanna's own former publicist, Jonathan Hay, comes forward, backing up everything Jaguar Wright has been saying. This isn't wild speculation or internet gossip. This is insider truth from someone who was actually in the room when the decisions were made. He saw it happen, he heard the conversations, and now he's confirming the details piece by piece. When someone who once helped shape Rihanna's image starts validating Wright's claims, you can't just shrug it off. This isn't some random rumor. It's coming straight from a professional who lived it. If a person that close to the situation says there's truth here, that means the curtain's finally slipping, and the secrets that built an empire are starting to spill out for everyone to see.
Allegedly, the song Daughter on Beyonce's Cowboy Carter album.
I love that one.
Well, it's potentially a murder confession about Jay-Z's mistress, Kathy White.
What?
Yeah, buckle up. On August 28th, 2011, Beyonce announced her pregnancy at the MTV VMAs.
Iconic.
On January 7th, 2012, Blue Ivy was born into this world. In 2016, Beyonce dropped Lemonade. Now, as we all know, Lemonade was a true album about infidelity. Jay-Z was rumored to have a very long time mistress. It was well known in the industry. People knew of Kathy White because of Jay-Z, okay? Yikes. So here's where it gets a little crazy. Kathy White was known to be pregnant in 2011. Shortly after giving birth, Kathy died mysteriously in her apartment of a brain aneurysm.
I have a feeling this is related.
Okay. Now, even though we saw Beyonce's bump publicly, there's a video of Beyonce sitting down for an interview and her whole stomach just deflates in the video. And it's very weird.
This is crazy.
If you listen to Daughter, the song completely illustrates her confession. The lyrics in the song say, "Your body laid out on these filthy floors, your bloodstains on my custom coutures. Bathroom attendant let me right in. She was a big fan. I tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I ripped your dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do." So fans are speculating that Beyonce had Kathy White killed after Kathy White had the baby and claimed the baby as her own, and that baby is Blue Ivy.
Kathy White's story takes the darkness to a whole new level. She wasn't just removed to protect Jay-Z. Jaguar Wright claims Beyonce herself played a part in making sure the woman who was reportedly carrying Jay-Z's child was silenced. This wasn't just about saving a man, it was about protecting an empire worth billions, an empire built on secrecy and power. Two women, both victims of the same machine, allegedly stepping in to protect it rather than expose it. It's chilling. And this is where Rihanna's full transformation hits you like a punch. The innocent girl from Barbados didn't just survive, she adapted. Wright claims she went from victim to accomplice, and finally to weapon. She learned the system so perfectly that she became one of its most powerful instruments, executing the same tactics that once trapped her. The teenager who once sat scared in that Manhattan office became the woman who publicly destroyed anyone who threatened to tell the truth. She didn't just protect the system, She embodied it. From terrified 16-year-old to the calculated figure who ended Chris Brown's career, her evolution shows how complete psychological control can be. Jaguar Wright calls it the final stage of manipulation, when the exploited become the enforcers. When celebrities wrap themselves in the language of empowerment, preaching healing and survival, while quietly defending those who hurt them, what are we really watching? Is it advocacy or weaponized silence? And when the so-called victims rush to stand by their accused attackers, calling it loyalty, maybe it's not love at all. Maybe it's proof of just how deep control can run. The mask of strength can hide a cage. And sometimes, that's the scariest truth of all.